So here we are on the island of Proso, and it's time to leave. Beautiful bay, enjoyed the stay, and it's time to head on our way. But before we really get into this video, be sure to subscribe and be sure to check out Captain Salve. It's a skin balm I made for a life outdoors. We head out and the wind is a bit variable, but you can see here that there is a front that moves through and provides us with some wind.
Got 20 knots of wind. How's it feel?
Exciting.
Exciting, eh?
But we are headed to the island of Skyros.
So Nikki, you've spent about a week outside of civilization. How does that feel?
Never wanting to go back.
Never. And by outside of civilization, I just mean out of reach of a grocery store, because we still have internet.
That's important.
And we both also still worked all week.
No,
And have you ever been to Skyros?
never.
What do you know about the island?
It has small ponies, miniature horses, and lobsters.
Miniature horses and lobsters.
And Achilles hide it out here, dressed as a woman. Mixed information, eh?
Achilles. Achilles.
No, his name was Pyrrha because he had blonde red hair. That's all I know about Skyros.
In all things considered, the sail is relatively uneventful. We're able to sail for about 70% of it. In the beginning we had to motor, and then near the end we had to motor as well. We anchored in the southwestmost bay on the island of Skyros, which is known as Alkio. As we arrived, the weather was beautiful, but we knew that we were in for it tomorrow, and we knew that a storm was coming. And so we enjoyed the pleasant weather for the evening while we could.
There's goats on the beach.
The odds of getting struck by lightning are about 1 in a million. But if you own a boat, especially a sailboat, the odds of it being struck by lightning are significantly higher, about 1 in 1,000. Let's see about...
1, 2.
Let's see. During a storm, you need to avoid contact with any device that is connected to a wall outlet. So I guess we're fine.
Did you ask about Wi-Fi though?
No. But it is okay to use wireless devices that are not connected to wall outlets, including cellular and cordless phones, as long as you're inside. Cell phones, small metal items, jewelry, etc. do not attract lightning. Small metal items.
When you're on a sailboat, the weather is an ever-present factor. You're more or less living outside, and the fact that you're on a boat and on anchor, the weather has an effect on you that it does not have when you're living in a building, or even a van for that matter.
Lightning tends to strike taller objects. Is it true that you shouldn't shower during a thunderstorm?
I'm not worried about showering. Generally.
For many sailors, thunderstorms are our greatest fear. You might think that big wind or big seas would be the greatest fear of a sailor. The thing about big wind and big seas is that you can learn how to navigate them, and there are things that you can do on the boat to mitigate risk and to make it a safer passage. But the thing with the thunderstorm is, if there happens to be one moving past you and you don't have the ability to avoid it, then you're more or less just waiting and hoping that you stay safe. There's nothing you can really do to mitigate the chance of a lightning strike besides just moving the boat out of the path of the storm, which is many times possible, but it's not always possible.
Put that one in your chest.
I grew up in Kansas City, and in Kansas City we have a thunderstorm season. So I grew up with thunderstorms, and when I was a kid, I was always a little bit afraid of thunderstorms because I think most people, that's what makes them exciting, is that you're a little bit afraid. But being in a house, you know that for the most part you're most likely safe, and so that slight fear turns into more like an exhilaration and an excitement. But I can tell you that on a boat, it's a much different experience. It is still thrilling in many ways, but it is way more anxiety provoking than when you're in a house. Just by fact of, I mean, the boat is basically a giant lightning rod, and so you're like sitting out there asking for it and just hoping that you get spared the catastrophe. But back to the weather. Weather acts very strange during a storm. The wind ends up being all over the place, and you'll see here in a minute during a time lapse that the boat gets flipped around 360 degrees multiple times. And so when you're in a storm like this, you really can't pay attention to anything else besides the storm and the weather, because if you flip 180 degrees, your anchor is most likely going to get pulled out of the ground, and then it needs to reset itself, which in this case it did, no problem, but it's something that you need to be aware of and be paying attention to. And so any activities or any work that needed to be done in the morning was all canceled. Instead, it was, we are going to sit in the cockpit, try to stay warm, try to stay dry, and just wait for this storm to pass and watch and see what happens. And by the time the rain really started to show up, most of the storm, as far as the lightning, had moved quite farther away from us. And just like how we're exposed out here on the boat, your skin is exposed to the elements every single day. And that's why I made Captain Salve. It's a balm that I use daily on sunburn, windburn, dry hands, whatever the sea leaves behind. It's 100% natural, packed with herbs. It's skincare that actually belongs out here. So be sure to check it out. There's lots of info on the website.
Picked up immediately to 20 knots.
CaptainSalve.com, and get yourself a jar. Try it for yourself. It's better than anything you can find on the shelves.
Well, we were kind of dry for a little bit. Now I'm pretty wet.
So we were lucky, and we were able to safely wait out the storm here in this bay. And then the next day, the weather was gorgeous. And so it was time to sail on over to the main port of Skyros, which is known as Linaria. So that from there, we would be able to rent a scooter and explore the whole island of Skyros.
Alright, let's go ahead and pull the Genoa out deploy the Genoa on the port side. So I had it set up to deploy it on the starboard side, so go ahead and get it ready over there. Actually, let's do the starboard side. The wind over here is weird, so let that out completely. Make sure that's free to run.
It's a very short sail. It's only about 5 miles to get to Linaria. And so we are able to sail a bit in the beginning, but as we get closer, the wind starts acting up, and it just makes more sense to take down the sails and motor the rest of the way. And so we motor, and we go through a small passageway between these two islands, Skyros and Valaxa. As we pass through this little passageway, you can see how different the water acts on the west side, which is the side that we're coming from, and the east side, the side that we are going to. It's a big difference. So we safely make our way over to Linaria, drop the anchor, and now we are in position to explore the island of Skyros. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, so you will be able to see the video of the beautiful island of Skyros. And it is a lovely island. Highly recommend it. I think it is highly underrated. And be sure to head over to CaptainSalve.com and know that not only are you feeding your skin, but you're also supporting this channel. Big love. Have a great week.